What's up, guys? IFBB Pro Morgan MacDonald with IFBB AMA coming at you with another video. Today we are discussing the newest and hottest fat loss drug on the market, Retatrutide. Okay guys, so Retatrutide is in the same family as Ozempic and all those other GLP-1 agonists. However, what sets Retatrutide apart is that it's actually a triple agonist, and it stimulates the GLP-1 receptor, the GIP receptor, and the glucagon receptor. So the GLP-1 receptor, like found in Ozempic, is what's responsible for the appetite suppression, the slower gastric emptying, and ultimately like suppressing cravings and things like that, making it easier to stay on track with diet, or essentially just eat less calories to be in a calorie deficit to lose body fat. They really up the ante with the Retatrutide by also making it an agonist to the GIP receptor, which in combination with the GLP-1 receptor is really going to have an effect on insulin sensitivity by allowing the pancreas to excrete more insulin anytime carbohydrates or glucose is in the bloodstream. So it's automatically going to make you more insulin sensitive, which is going to allow your body to essentially use food more efficiently and burn fat at a faster rate, and also preserve muscle tissue in a fat loss phase. The other real cool thing about the GIP receptor is that it can actually preserve beta cell function of the pancreas. So in someone who was overweight or been obese for a long period of time that are insulin resistant, it can help them gain insulin sensitivity back over time. So, this is just absolutely major for those people that are, trying to lose a lot of fat, or people who are type 2 diabetic. It could essentially help them regain insulin sensitivity and not be insulin resistant and just be a healthier person. And then obviously the more body fat they lose over time using the drug, things will just continue to improve. What really changes the game, in my opinion, with this drug and separates it from the other ones that are like it is how it's an agonist to the glucagon receptor as well. Glucagon typically by itself would raise blood sugar, but in combination with the GLP-1 and GIP receptors, it actually has a strong effect on increasing resting metabolic rate, which in turn is going to improve fat oxidation through lipolysis. So it's essentially automatically going to help your body target body fat to be used as energy. The only downfall of this is that it does it so aggressively that muscle loss could be an issue. So, just like Ozempic and those other drugs, when you're using something like this that's really suppressing the appetite, you need to make sure that you're taking in enough protein and enough calories so that you're not in too much of a calorie deficit, so that you're not losing weight too fast, because we all know that just because you're losing weight doesn't mean that it's only fat. You could be burning off muscle too. So obviously, guys, this drug is made for people who are obese or have type 2 diabetes that are at a health risk, and they need something that's going to help them be in a calorie deficit to lose the weight. It's not meant for lean muscular athletes. It wasn't designed to be used by these types of people. Because of that, we don't really know how it could affect lean muscular physiques over the long term. This drug hasn't even passed stage 3 clinical trials. But of course, the fitness industry is taking this drug and applying it. And from what my understanding so far, from what I've seen, it's not only in fat loss phases, it's also in muscle building phases. So let's get into, the possible pros and cons of each situation, and when it could be used and maybe when it should not be used. So of course, it's most commonly going to be used in a fat loss phase or a contest prep setting. Obviously, in these settings, people deal with high hunger, they deal with cravings, and of course that can make it hard to stay on diet. That's probably the biggest challenge in getting lean, right? Is staying on your diet and not cheating and not going into a calorie surplus when you shouldn't. So obviously taking a drug like this that's going to suppress your appetite and help you not even think about food. Like, I hear from people, they're taking this drug and they miss meals because they literally forget to eat. Like, that's how far away your mind is from eating when you're taking something like this. A couple of other scenarios where I could see this being useful for a short period of time would be a post-show rebound. So say you get through your prep, really hard diet, you get in great shape, and then the show is over. This is when a lot of people get that post-show rebound and they lose control because they've been hungry for so long, and now they don't have that, the show is over with, so they don't really have anything holding them back from eating junk food or overeating, so that you see a lot of people blow up after the show. I think if you're coming out of a show and you know this is an issue you have, maybe you could take, you know, the Retatrutide for a short period of time while you slowly bring your food back up, and then slowly come off the drug, let your appetite regulate, and then you can get back on a normal diet, and then you avoid that whole post-show rebound thing. Another situation could be if someone needs like a hard reset after a really long off-season phase or bulking phase where they gain too much fat, and they want to, you know, get some fat off quickly so that they can regain body composition and, you know, get into a situation to have a good prep or do another building phase. It could be good to be used for that for a short period. And the last real scenario I think that this could be a positive thing would be if you have like an injury, you know, say, you know, you're halfway through your off season, you've been eating tons of food, and then you tear something and you got to stay out of the gym. You know, at that point, our bodies are programmed to want and expect food. So the hunger is going to be there, at least for a while. Even if you're not training, it's going to take a while for the hunger to die down. So if you need to lower your calories and you're dealing with a lot of hunger and you're sitting around your house and you're bored and you're finding it hard to stay out of the cupboard and stay away from, you know, the junk food and stuff like that, it could be a good time to supplement some Retatrutide just to help bring that appetite down a little bit, make it easier for you to stay within your macro requirements so that you keep good body composition while you heal from that injury. All in all, I will say that I don't think it's something that's ever necessary, right? Using this drug. And again, guys, we're talking about a drug that hasn't even passed stage 3 clinical trials yet, right? It hasn't been around for very long, but because of how awesome it looks on paper, which it really does, people want to try it. People want to do it, especially when they hear that it's going to help them with appetite suppression. You know, I think that's the biggest thing. I guess my biggest concern would be, you know, if you're using it over the long term, like how do you come off of it, right? That's kind of the scary thing to me, would be reliance. You definitely don't need this, right? And again, I'd be worried that it's something that you could become reliant on. Whether you want to try it or not, I'll leave it up to you. I don't think I will be using it personally for myself or with my clients, but we'll see what more information comes out on it over time. And maybe eventually we can all diet and do contest preps and never be hungry or have cravings. That would be amazing. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.